students, welcome to yet another session of my class. We are discussing Train Journey by Judith Wright. First of all, I read the poem, then I will explain you. Train Journey. Glassed with cold sleep and dazzled by the moon, out of the confused hammering dark of the train, I looked and saw under the moon's cold sheet your delicate dry breasts, country that built my heart, and the small trees on their uncolored slope, like poetry moved, articulate and sharp, and purposeful under the great dry flight of air, under the crosswise currents of wind and star. Clench down your strength, box tree and iron bark. Break with your violent root the virgin rock. Draw from the flying dark its breath of dew, till the unliving come to live in you. Be over the blind rock a skin of sense. Under the barren height a slender dance. I woke and saw the dark small trees that burn suddenly into flowers more lovely than the white moon. Students, what do you understand from this poem, from these lines? In this poem, Train Journey, she perceives, that is, Wright perceives the landscape as seen from a train or as visualized in a dream and refers to it as the force that developed her sensibilities. Yes, from the title itself, we can understand that train journey, it is something related with a journey. So she perceives the landscape. Here landscape means in the sense Australian landscape. That means she belonged to Australia. So she perceives the landscape as seen from a train. Maybe her experience, that is her own experience, that is she perceives the Australian landscape as seen from a train during a train journey, or as visualized in a dream and refers to it as and the second one is maybe visualized in a dream, that is in a half dream, visualized those landscape in a dream, and refers to it as the force, and she believes that the power of this nature, or it is the driving force that developed her sensibilities. In the introductory part itself, I already told you she tried to establish a relationship between man and nature, and moreover she was a zealous environmentalist. She has very much interest in environment, nature, etc. So here she believes that and refers to it as this though that landscape, her own motherland, as a driving force that developed her sensibilities or to write more poems, etc. That means she tried to establish one relationship between language and nature. At the beginning of the poem, she describes her thoughts about the Australian landscape as she approaches her homeland. And here the word train is the representation of colonial expansion, that is the idea of expansion over the landscape, over colonial paradigm. Yes, with the help of this particular poem, she is trying to express one notion, that is the train. The word train itself represents colonial expansion, idea of expansion over the landscape, over colonial paradigm. And she also explains those feelings of colonized people or oppressed people. Glassed with cold sleep and dazzled by the moon. Yes, from the first line itself we can understand. Glassed with cold sleep. Glassed in the sense, normally the word means cover or enclose. So glassed with cold sleep, that means in a deep sleep, and dazzled by the moon. Dazzled means make unable to see because of too much light, or impressed by a splendid display. Yes, glassed with, that is in a deep or enclosed with the cold sleep, and dazzled, that is splendid or impressed by the that display of the moon, that moonlit night, out of the confused hammering dark of the train. Yes, glassed. From these first two lines we can understand that it is something related with a train journey, or visualized that landscape in a dream. That means she was in a half dream, glassed with a cold sleep. That means she was in a deep sleep, and at the same time and dazzled by the moon out of the confused hammering dark of the train, out of the confused that conveys difficulty in staying awake. That means she was in deep sleep, which gives a sense that the poem is partly a dream. And moreover, there is a secondary meaning for those two lines, that is glassed with a cold sleep. So glassed is used in the other sense, it's ignorance. That is idea of state of ignorance, that dream-like atmosphere, that with a waking up, that dazzled means that waking up, or the realization or the state of awareness brought on by nature. That is the secondary meaning of that lines. That means there is a transformation happened, that from the state of ignorance to the state of awareness, that realization has happened, and that was brought on by nature. And here nature in the sense here means that as her own motherland, that is Australian landscape or that New England environment. And that confused hammering dark of the train, that is ignorance, confusion, lack of empathy, that understanding, that inside of the train, that only inner landscape. So glassed with cold sleep and dazzled by the moon out of the confused hammering dark of the train, I looked and saw under the moon's cold sheet. Yes, I looked and I perceived, or I looked and saw those landscape under the moon's cold sheet. That means she was in a half dream. Maybe she visualized in her dream those landscape. Your delicate dry breasts, country that built my heart. Yes, I perceived, or I looked and saw under the moon's cold sheet. What was she uh, saw? That is your delicate dry breast. She saw that her own motherland. She saw her own motherland. Your delicate dry breast, and that means dry landscape, or yes, drought stricken land. Your delicate dry breath, uh, give us an idea that yes, it is a drought stricken land, or it lost its energy vigor, that vegetation greenery, etc. I saw your delicate dry breast, country that built my heart, country that built my heart. Again, yes, here, country that built my heart, here she expressed her own that sense of feeling towards her motherland, that is her own homeland, country that built my heart. And moreover, in this sentence, she used one literary device, that is personification, attribute human characteristics or human qualities to those landscape, that she considers that country or that land as her own mother, country that built my heart, her own, yes, motherland or homeland. And the small trees on their uncolored slope like poetry moved articulate and sharp and purposeful under the great dry flight of air. Yes, when she talks of the small trees moving and articulating like poetry, she seems to establish a close connection between nature and poetry, and they complement each other. Yes, yes, here she is trying to establish one relationship between nature and language, and she compares that small trees and poetry, and the small trees on their uncolored slope. Yes, the landscape, it lost its vigor, energy, greenery, vegetation. The above sentence itself we can understand it. I saw your delicate dry breast, that yes, dry, that slender, that dry breast, that uh, dry or drought stricken land, and the small trees on their uncolored slope, like yes, this articulation of the small trees is compared with the movement and articulation of poetry. That means she tried to establish one relationship between language and nature. And moreover, from this sentence, that your delicate dry breast country that built my heart. Yes, from that line we can understand one notion, that is she tried to raise aboriginal perspective and inspire creativity. Aboriginal perspective, I already told you in the introductory part, she was a strong advocate of Aboriginal land rights. Aboriginal in the sense means existing, that is in a country from its earliest times. Aboriginal that means indigenous people, one who existing in a country from its early, that is primitive people, indigenous people or ancestors, that those people here, your delicate dry breast country, there is a secondary meaning, a secondary sense to, yes, here aboriginal perspective, yes. And the small trees on their uncolored slope like poetry moved articulate and sharp and purposeful under the great dry flight of air. And she seems to establish a close connection between nature and poetry, and they complement each other. And moreover, her trees and poetry are credited with an analogous power to restore contact between the speaker and the country that built her heart. Yes, she is trying to establish one relationship between nature and language. Moreover, her trees, and when she believes that her trees, that means her own motherland or her nature, her trees and poetry, that is her writings, are credited with the analogous power, that is immense power to restore contact between the speaker and her own homeland, or that is the country that built her heart. And the literary device personification is used in the comparison between small trees and poetry, as well as simile also used. And the small trees are moving purposefully. Yes, these small trees are, yes, moving in the gentle breeze purposefully under the great dry flight of air, under the crosswise currents of wind and star. And it is a promising era. It is a promising, yes, promising a new beginning to life. And this articulation, this movement of small trees and this articulation, it gives a promise to us. What is that promise? It is promising a new beginning to life, promising a new beginning to nature. Then clench down your strength, box tree and iron bark. Break with your violent root the virgin rock. Yes, here the speaker exhorts the box tree and iron bark to show their determination and anger by breaking the virgin rock. Clench down. Clench in the sense means press or squeeze tightly, showing that you are angry, determined, or upset. Yes, the speaker, she tries to she exhorts, or she asks this box tree and iron bark, clench down your strength. Clench down, that means press or squeeze tightly, showing that you are angry, you are determined, or you are upset. Please try to show that. Clench down your, she exhorts, she asks the box tree and iron bark to show their determination and anger by breaking the virgin rock. Yes, break with your violent root the virgin rock. Yes, you will the speaker exhorts the box tree and ironbark to show their determination and anger by breaking the virgin rock with their violent roots. You try to break those virgin rock with your violent root. Thus they could provide a way for the blooming of new life. Yes, from the above stanza itself we got a notion that it is there is a this promising of a new beginning of life or to nature. Here again she asked this box tree and ironbark to break those virgin rock and to give a virgin rock by with your violent root, and thus they could provide a way for the blooming of new life in that barren land. Virgin rock in the sense means barren land. Thus they could provide these box tree or ironbark, they can provide a way for the blooming of new life in that barren land, and draw from the flying dark its breath of dew, till the unliving come to life in you. Yes, again she invokes nature to endow life to the unliving by drawing its breath of dew. Draw from the flying dark its breath of dew, till the unliving come to live in you. Here, nature, it brings life to things that do not have a sense of life in them, that till the unliving come to live in you. Here, we readers get a notion that yes, that aboriginal notion of that aboriginal perspective. Here from the expression of this landscape, she is trying to express those condition of aboriginal people. They were oppressed and suppressed in their own motherland or country. They lost their energy, vigor and everything because of colonization. So she invokes nature to endow life to the unliving. She exhorts, or she invokes, she asks nature to give life to those people, to life to the unliving. Yes, these aboriginal people, they are living like unliving things because they lost energy, voice, everything. They were oppressed in their own country. So it brings life to things that do not have a sense, or these people, they do not have a sense of life in them because everything lost that sense of love, energy, vigor, enthusiasm. So like this drought stricken land, this dry landscape, they lost everything. So she invokes nature to enter life to the unliving by drawing its breath of dew. And it here means that nature brings life to things that do not have a sense of life in them. Be over the blind rock a skin of sense, under the barren height a slender dance. I walk and saw the dark small trees that burn suddenly into flowers more lovely than the white moon. Yes, and also nature should impart a skin of greenery to the blind rock. Again, she used apostrophe here. That is a literary device. Yes, nature should impart a skin of greenery, or yes, vigor or energy to the blind rock. And with Wright's use of imagination, her use of imagination, she adds a sense of life to the environment. She is trying to give life to the environment. She adds a sense of life to the environment. And this is seen with the personification, be over the blind rock a skin of sense, which adds life to the rocks. There she sees nature's slender dance of joy. There she sees the joy of the nature, slender dance of joy in nature. Her imagination scales great heights. Yes, under the barren height a slender dance. I walk and saw the dark small trees that burn. Yes, her imagination scales great heights when she takes us from the blind rocks and barren heights to the small trees that move like poetry and burn suddenly into flowers. Thus, the speaker wakes to the realization, I walk and saw the dark small trees that burn. Yes, now suddenly she realized, or thus the speaker wakes to the realization. What is that realization? Realization that the flowering of the dark small trees. I walked and saw the dark small trees that burn. And yes, flowering of the dark small trees, that there is an inner meaning, that is that of the blooming of her writings or blooming of her poetry. That is a natural mystery and not something to be commanded by the rhetoric of will. It is a purely a natural mystery. She, yes, realized that. And at last, ultimately, the land has the ability to reach. She believed that this nature of the land has, or her own motherland, In the first part itself, she emphasized that she believed that yes, both poetry and her own country or landscape has the power or vigor or energy, or she considers her own landscape as a, or this nature as a driving force to develop her sensibilities. And ultimately, the land has the ability to rejuvenate like the small trees. It also acknowledges, yes, there is an inner meaning, the rejuvenation of whom? Rejuvenation of this Aboriginal people. It also acknowledges Aboriginal ancestors, specifically in terms of the unloving loss Aboriginal people have suffered throughout her lifetime. That's why I told you in the introductory part, train journey, train, it represents colonial expansion. And there is an inner meaning, that is the perspective of Aboriginal people. And moreover, she tried to establish one relationship between language and nature as well as man and nature. I think all of you understand this poem. There is a homework for you, and the homework is write a critical appreciation of the poem Train Journey. Write your homework well and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again.